Live from Floor 2, welcome to Fortune TV, OUC's very own TV station and the only committee in an institution that is 2/3 women to not have a female lead after nearly 3 years of operations. Now, I know it may seem like it, but I swear I didn't make it look like I came straight out of the 1970s just to reinforce that point. Much to my director's annoyance, I'm taking part in Floor 21 and Friends, OUC's very own Movember fundraising page. Please consider donating, as every little helps to stop our men dying too young, whether it's from physical health or mental health issues. We'll actually be hosting a bake sale very soon, next Wednesday in fact, so please consider joining up for that. Look at our Facebook page or contact the fantastic Madalena Trapattoni, who's been organising all of this. So, our academic year is now well and truly in full swing. Though the days are cold, dark and full of exams, the 1st of November has now passed, which, according to my neighbour, means it's now socially acceptable to play Christmas songs 24/7. If that doesn't cut the paper note for you, Fortune TV is here to help you get out of the bleak and dark spirit and get you through the end of the block, with reports on the year so far, previews of the gala and the panto, and, of course, as always, my B- banter. First up, we'll be taking a break from the midterm stress by checking in with USL and one of the biggest parties of the year, the Halloween party. So, stay tuned and pay attention so you can tag your friends' drunken moments. Well, kudos to you if you can remember any of that. But we're not done just yet with getting dressed up. The second block brings many staples of life here at LUC, and none fancier than the gala. Here at Fortune TV we have the distinct pleasure of being able to bring you the gala location reveal.
Travellers from all four corners, crossing streets and tracks and borders, come and leave your home for just one night, but not alone. And just like old years past, we'll guide your souls into the dark, take fears and throw them to the sharks, so you will know to drop your masks. chase seagulls' croaking cries, dressed up with eager open eyes, so you can see the truth from lies, behaving keen to blow disguise. Let dimming lights bring brimming heights. Don't skim this sight, since trimmed inside there looms a clue to where this feast will take our minds of LUC.
Well, what a step up. To find out a bit more about the gala, we now have the gala board on the show. So, welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so we've got a lot of you, so maybe could you introduce yourselves and tell us what you do on the gala board?
Okay, I'll start. I'm the head of the gala team, and I'm in charge of like finances as well. Kind of in contact with the venue and stuff like that.
I'm Edme, and I'm head of like the performances, being part of the arts here at LUC.
I'm Ali. I organized the band that we're going to have playing and assisted when it was necessary.
And I'm JJ, and I'm mostly in touch with the DJs, and I went to the location, and I was lucky enough to do that. Thanks, guys.
Well, thanks for joining us, guys, and congratulations to Edme and JJ for surviving the filming of that. It has been particularly cold lately.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously we've got a lot of first years. Maybe not all of them know. So could you guys tell us what a gala is?
Well, it's the event of the year, obviously. It's kind of to socialize, to get together, celebrate the end of the block, like coming together before the festive season starts, kind of just catch up.
I would say you can compare it basically with like your high school prom, but
yeah.
then it's more in a winter, Christmassy like theme.
Yeah, but better.
Very nice. So you've all brought these very ornate masks on the show. I'm guessing this alludes to the theme, which is masquerade.
Yes, absolutely.
You would be right.
How do
Shall
you
we put
guess
them on?
All right.
You can expect.
Very nice. So what are you guys expecting for everyone to wear for this masquerade ball?
Well, mask.
A mask, but it will be black tie, which will be formal attire. And I know that there's a sustainable fashion dress catalog sharing coming out on Tuesday, so look out for that.
Fantastic. So, I mean, the pier is an absolutely incredible location. I think very well known throughout the Netherlands, really. So, how did you guys manage to get a venue like the pier?
Well, it was a challenge, to say the least, for you all who were there last year. Made it a bit difficult for us to find the venue this year, but we managed. We're very happy with it, and we hope you obviously like it as well. There is going to be security, there's cameras, just keep it in check a little bit more, maybe. But yeah, I think it's going to be really nice and exciting.
I mean, yeah, we really consider a lot of options, but
Yeah.
this really seemed to be the best one. And even though the pier is quite large and you have, even on the pier you have multiple options,
Yeah.
we finally arranged an agreement with the place that's more on the end of the pier. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. All right. So, do you guys have maybe any tips for surviving this year's gala?
Well, that's a very good question you're giving us there. Do we?
First of all, to get in, you should wear your mask. That's the first tip.
Definitely.
And bring your
Bring your
ticket.
Bring your ticket.
Have fun, enjoy the photo booth, have some drinks, not too many maybe. Leave your drugs at home.
Fair enough.
Also, dress warm.
Yeah.
Dress warm.
Bring a
Very
good coat.
true.
Bring
I think Edme and JJ can definitely testify to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, so I actually have a question from the audience. Will the Ferris wheel be open to chill-in during the gala from a friend of ours in Hawaii?
Actually you can rent it out. You can actually rent it out. You could have for I think 3,000 euros. It wasn't quite in our budget, unfortunately, but maybe next year.
Yeah, if anyone has 3,000 euros lying around and they want to rent it out.
Maarten, if you stay in Hawaii, then and you give us the money for your flight tickets, then we
Yeah.
might, you know.
All right, absolutely fantastic. So, when just to wrap things up, when are tickets going on sale, and where can we get them?
Monday, floor 2, 1:30 to 2:30 every day that week until the sellout.
All right, fantastic. Well, thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you very much.
Thank you.
Well, for years now, politicians have been warning us of foreigners coming into the Netherlands to escape civil unrest in their own countries and erasing Dutch culture with their own strange customs. Unfortunately, LUC is just the latest place to suffer from this, as Brits fleeing Brexit brought their own pub quizzes to LUC. Fortune TV was there to cover the horrors of this British invasion.
Say my name, cuz. My name is Matthew King. I'm from London. What's this boy's name?
Yeah, boy, Franz and Halbert.
From where?
Oh, from Ipswich. Alright, we're starting with the sports round.
What is behind us? What are we wearing?
Can you please give me the sound of the buzzer?
No, it's like.
Yeah, wave your spoon about. There are some spoons around.
8 out of 10.
The final question for this round.
Picture.
Take a picture of the
Okay, take a picture of my picture.
How is that different?
Picture of my picture.
That's what unites.
You should have a question on that.
That's boys, we're going to be taking the piss out of you all night. No Dutch chanting, please. I don't like it any of the time.
They can chant as much as they want, but as long as they don't win, like,
Yeah, I don't care. But they didn't win, so
their
it's
chants
fine.
are clearly futile. I'm alright, to be honest.
They didn't win, so it's fine.
For tonight's next segment, we want to cover an ever more relevant question here in an institution with an increasing number of media outlets. What role should the media of LUC have regarding the discussion of issues that occur at LUC, no matter how controversial these may be? To discuss this issue, we've got a panel discussion opening up. On the panel tonight, we have Douwe Roost from LUC Shipposting, Fenne van Hijfte from 22FM, Anna Giban from PAX, and Bahumi Mogwe Jansen from Race and Ethnicity, and I hope I got all of these names correct.
Yeah.
All right. So just to start off, because obviously we represent a very diverse set of institutions here at LUC, I thought we'd just talk about our own, institutions' views on the media. Here at Fortune TV, we try and provide more of a platform for others. We do, of course, have our own views as members, and the members do often decide what goes on, but we try as often as possible to discuss with other people and reach out to others to collaborate on different issues. Douwe, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so obviously shitposting has, of course, been over the past year a place where enough controversy has happened. But we try to make it a place where the political issues or issues that are discussed within LEC are in many regards just satire, you know. We try to be a bit less as fair about it, and when we actually have to intervene, which we over the last block at least have had to do, me and the other badmins, shout out to Louis and Mairead, I've had to intervene when ad hominem attacks, for example, happened, and the amount of posts that we had to delete has been quite significant, but in most cases we try to at least be a platform that facilitates discussion, but not in the sense that we actually want to resolve that many issues, but also just to be a place to have fun.
Alright, well, for 22FM, we try mainly to offer people a platform to do a radio show, which means that we don't necessarily veto a lot of things. So we basically scan your idea first and we look at whether it will be a good show or not. And if it's a good show, then you're mainly free to say whatever you want, unless it's very hateful or discriminating or whatever, obviously. But other than that, we do really believe in freedom of speech, and we actually just offer a platform. We're not a traditional news outlet in that way that we cover any news. So therefore, we don't have a very strong veto policy or like censoring policy. So we're quite, free with that kind of stuff.
Okay, so we also really see PAX as a platform where we want a range of LEC voices to be heard and expressed, but also in a manner that is at the same time constructive and enriching to the LEC community. So that being said, all our pieces that we publish are directly initiated by the students that submit them, so they're directly reflective of their opinions and not necessarily of our opinions as a board. However, we do recognize sort of a responsibility for putting this magazine together and crafting it together. So if it comes to, for example, controversy, we have a system in place where either we as the board assess whether something is indeed, if we deem it relevant to the discussion, if it's going to have a productive impact on the discussion as a whole, or if we think that it might affect certain groups in a certain way, we now have policies in place where we can either seek the counseling of certain groups or even professors if it comes down to it. But ultimately, our editorial process doesn't involve any content-based censorship. We really mainly focus on holistic issues related to the more like clarity, structure, grammar process. So overall, we really just want to encourage this atmosphere of the voices of LEC being heard and also having a diversity of voices being heard.
From race and ethnicity. Well, firstly, I think we need to think of the word controversial, right? So what's controversial to me may not be controversial to another person. So I think that may be one of the reasons why within LUC sometimes people may not understand why other people may be upset about something, or why, it depends on how you interpret the terminology. And so if controversial has to do with making people uncomfortable, then I think media has to deal with it in a sensitive way, because they need to be aware that there may be an audience out there who may find the information or news triggering, or it may bring back memories of an event, or it may make them very emotional. So I think in terms of media, within LUC, we need to be aware and a bit more sensitive to the groups within the community, especially since we are preaching to this whole diversity and inclusiveness aspect, which is tied to Leiden University as an institution. So.
Thank you very much. And if any of our viewers do have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. We will try and get them to the panel. So just to kick us off, I'll just ask you guys, jump in whenever you like. Do we think that the media outlets we currently have at LUC are doing a good enough job of covering the issues that matter to people?
I wouldn't say so, to be honest, because there's not necessarily any initiative from the news outlets to have certain issues tabled. It's, at least for LEC shitposting, it is more about that people just post stuff and they can do whatever they want. And in that case, maybe Fortune TV is the best place to actually table issues that are important, because as you are doing now, we are talking about controversy, so I would say that if you include Fortune TV in this assessment, then yes, I think that the news that you guys provide at least sparks some debate.
I do think that we can do better though, at least speaking from PAX, we are ultimately a reflection of the student submissions. So if we receive low student submissions, there's not going to be a range of opinions represented and a range of issues represented as well. So one thing that we do want to encourage is because we know there are a lot of LUC students who have a lot to say about the different topics and issues that we face at LUC, but then we don't really see this reflected, I think, enough in our media outlets. And especially we, for example, tend to see more in LUC shitposting rather than it being addressed in a way that would actually be more constructive. For example, one thing that we have tried to do with PAX is if there is a more controversial issue, we will have maybe 2 at least articles on the same issue, kind of from 2 different perspectives, which is what we had with our Block 4 issue last year on diversity. So that, I think, is one way that we can kind of maybe constructively have that conversation, and also increasingly so for more submissions.
Right, so I actually have a question, first question in from the audience. I think this is one more directed towards you, Anna. What is the PAX editing process? How many people edit the pieces in the past issues?
So we have a team of editors. It varies per issue, so it's usually, I'd say, around 4 or 5 people. The board is involved in a lot of this process. One thing I want to clarify is that the editing process in PAX, it's not content-based editing, so it's very much in terms of, like I said before, clarifying things like structure, grammar, whether a piece reads well, and also for more narrative pieces, so short stories and poems, we don't edit the content of those because obviously it's people's sort of personal views and it's hard to kind of impose sort of different edits on that. So our edits are very much really focused on preserving the intention and the original opinion of the author while still presenting this in a kind of, clearer and the best way we can to publish it in the magazine.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel that PAX should proofread content before it goes up, or do you think the system it has now is okay?
So because as a board, we are ultimately still 5 individuals who do not, as individuals, always have the authority or even the right to be able to deem whether a piece is, let's say, insensitive or not, or assess what kind of effect it will have on certain groups at LUC. So I do think that based on that, it is safer for us to say, okay, we cannot be the ones to sort of limit certain opinions just based on content. That being said, of course, we have a policy against, we don't allow any very blatant discrimination, hate speech, anything like that. No, absolutely not. But when it comes to sort of the gray area, which I think is what a lot of this conversation is about, we are actively working towards trying to implement sort of more opinions and get more people involved in the conversation of whether something is sort of, if it's going to be constructive to the overall conversation or it's only going to have actually harmful effects. Yeah.
I'd like to move on to another question now. Do you guys, what role do you think the media should have going forward at LUC? What role should we take in regards to the issues that we must be covering?
I think that's a very difficult question, especially defining what moving forward means, but also defining what you think media means, because for us at 22FM, media means something very different than I think, for example, for PAX, because we are mainly a student content-based initiative and we literally only offer the platform. So I think for us at 22FM that lies a bit in a gray area, I would say, but I don't know how that is for you guys.
Well, for us it's quite difficult because we don't do any editing pre the posting of any messages, but if I would take a stance myself, I would say that the media could be more active in actually tabling issues. And one of the things that could actually improve the debate at LUC is if the media outlets would combine with, for example, the efforts taken last block by the Hear Me Out campaign, which in my regard at least proved helpful in tabling certain issues during their events. So if there's any will to cooperate between media outlets and them or other people that want to take initiatives, then I think that would surely be encouraged.
It's an interesting point, actually. I just wanted to come back to something you said about 22FM itself with hosting the shows, because you guys do a lot of external shows where people can come up and set up a show of their own. How much vetting process is there in regards to people setting up their own shows, and how involved is 22FM with each individual external show?
So our editing process is kind of as follows. We get a request for a show, so people ask us to do a show, and we assess whether that request is feasible, whether it's fun to listen to, and whether it can fill up 2 hours of content. If that is the case, and it's actually interesting, it's not too controversial, or for example has hate speech or any hateful themes, discrimination, that kind of stuff, then we'll just be like, okay, you guys can do a show. Then the day of the show we go there and we basically kind of monitor how the show is going, but we don't censor live on air. We don't really get involved because it's mostly the people doing the show that actually fill up the content, and we are actually only there to produce the show and to make sure that everything goes live on air. So our vetting process is mainly before the show actually starts, rather than while the show is already busy on air.
Do you have a policy in case something does happen on air? Like, let's say you have people who come on and they have a show and they say some blatantly like rude hate speech or any like racist commentary. Do you have like a policy to deal with it, or do you think you just have to deal with it in the moment it happens?
We don't have an official policy as such being written down on paper or anything, but I think I speak for most of us when we say that we find it very uncomfortable when people make those kind of statements, and that we also try to make very clear that that is not 22FM opinion or any of our personal opinions, and that what people are saying on air is really their own opinion, and that we will take that into account when doing other shows with those same people or other people that they're related to.
Unfortunately, we are a bit pressed for time here, so if we were going to go on to some kind of concluding remarks here from this discussion, obviously there is more to this than can be covered in a very brief panel discussion between a few members of select committees. But is it that maybe perhaps media organisations at LUC should look at cooperating more closely with each other, as well as the student community then?
Yeah, I do think that is something that we definitely need to do. I particularly see this sort of disconnect currently between the very accessible sort of more Facebook-style media platforms, and I think that includes sort of Confession Bear to an extent as a very kind of easily accessible way to just get discussion out there. But then I think what's important is for those discussions to move on to then the more formal platforms and to move on to a space where we can have a more constructive conversation about these things.
I think just in general, to keep in mind the LUC community, they need to think about how people may interpret what's going out. So maybe to you it may not seem like it has a negative sort of feel, but maybe to other people or minority groups, or be it religion, be it people with disabilities, be it people of a different race, it doesn't matter, like it doesn't change. But just to keep that in mind when posting, because we are in like a time, like, you know, in the world where it's a bit difficult being a minority. So especially at LUC, we all live together, we're a very close-knit community, and to sort of feel out of place in that is not like what we want. You know, we'd like to feel included, we'd like to feel like everyone's together as a family. So just to keep that in mind whenever posting on any media platform.
Well, thank you very much everyone for joining, and unfortunately we'll have to cut it off there. Well, we've been left with a lot to think about with that discussion. I'd like to thank all of our guests who came on the show today. Despite the brief time we had, I think we've raised some interesting points, and hopefully we can maybe get a proper discussion going in the auditorium about this at some point. Well, as we do well know, LUC life is full of drama. To see more of this, Fortune TV teamed up with the Beyond Arts team to have a look at what it was like to be an actor in one of their plays.
Such an idiot, Stanley. It couldn't be put in a coffin, but had to be burned. Lost how?
No, I thought not.
No, I want magic.
Hi, my name is Petra, and I play Blanche Dubois. I would say I wake up, put on some music, set the atmosphere, Then I go immediately and I make some coffee, do my journaling. I take my journaling very, very seriously. I think it just refreshes the soul. I don't like to put too much effort into my day-to-day look, so usually I just throw something on.
Okay guys, 3 weeks to go. It's getting real. We got to step up the game and really, get to the place we need to be. So, you've all read your lines in your head. Last week we, took a big step and we said the lines out loud. Yeah, I know. So I'm really proud of you guys for that. We're getting to the stage of also, doing some movement, but today's really important. We're gonna walk and talk at the same time.
Louis is a bit of a diva. Don't tell him I said that.
You need to step out of character sometimes. Remember, you're Petra, not Blanche. Sometimes you just be. Come on.
I don't know who Petra is anymore.
Okay, guys, can we have a minute? Yeah. Why, Petra? Why are you in costume?
This is not my costume.
Oh Jesus, I'm too hungover for this. Like honestly, you just get a grip.
This is.
I've never seen you in the afternoon.
Well, whose fault is that?
You never want to go out in the afternoon.
But why, Mitch? You're always at the plant in the afternoon.
Not Sunday afternoon. I've asked you out on Sunday afternoons, but you always make an excuse. Hi, I'm Gabriel Macon, and I'm playing Harold Mitchell, known in the play as Mitch.
Let's talk about how it's going with Petra and your role together.
I think I've really developed a sense of who Mitch is as an individual and as a character as well. But I don't think Petra really is Blanche.
I started learning my lines before the play was even announced. Patika, me. In my face. No, you could do that better. I took the blows. That's powerful. Line? Sorry, what's my line?
Why do you always ask me if you may?
Why do you always ask me if you may? I don't know.
I don't know.
Whether you.
2 hours later.
What happened?
And
I fell over. Oh, and that night when we parked by the lake, and I kissed you.
Honey, it wasn't the kiss I objected to. I liked the kiss very much. It was the other little familiarity that I felt obliged to discourage. I didn't resent it, honey, not one bit. In fact, I was quite flattered that you desired me. But, honey, you know as well as I do that a single girl alone in the world has got to keep a firm hold on her emotions, or she'll be lost.
Sorry, can we try the last bit again?
Yeah, wasn't me.
Hi, I'm Inez. I play Stella Dubois, and today in rehearsal we're doing repetition, which means that we're repeating lines until we feel like we've grasped them.
Just soaking in a hot tub.
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 20 minutes later.
Oh, yeah, in a tub.
In a tub.
Oh, in a tub. Yeah.
Can we stop?
Can you stop?
Can we stop?
Can you stop?
Is it enough?
Is this enough?
Can we stop?
Can you stop?
Like, seriously, can we stop?
Yeah, can we stop?
Seriously, can you stop?
Well, surely you don't mean to be insulting.
No, just realistic.
I don't want realism.
No, I thought not.
No, I want magic. Line?
I want magic. You're doing great, guys.
Well, I'm sure we're all looking forward to seeing that. We'd like to thank many of our viewers who are, very much engaging with our show today, and we understand that there are many concerns and comments you guys have, and we're sorry we can't get to all of them. Unfortunately, we only have a very short show, and within that short show is the segment we're trying to cover. And unfortunately, whilst we understand there are many topics people would like to be addressed, It would be unfair of us to try and cover those without all the relevant parties present. After all, we were only a few people discussing the matter, which of course is very big and deserves its own full-on panel discussion in the auditorium, which I'm sure is definitely in the works at some point. Back to the topic of drama though. Up next we've got the board of one of LUC's most looked forward to events after the Dias, and of course your Blockley Fortune TV broadcast. We're happy to bring you the board of pantomime to maybe, just maybe get some hints of what to expect from this year's panto. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
So, could you maybe introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Tinkerbell. I just flew here from Neverland.
Me, Tarzan.
Look for the bare necessities, a simple bare.
Hi, I'm Prince Charming and I love shoes.
I'm Ariel.
Okay. Hi, guys. So, this begs really only one question. What are we all buying tickets to see?
Me. The pantomime.
It's an experience. We're going to take you to a different place, a whole new world.
What place?
A whole new world.
Ooh.
Okay. So, can we maybe get an idea of where this new world might be?
Well, there's a hint. One of us is like wearing a character at the moment from the actual pantomime.
Okay, so one of you is actually one of the characters that we're going to see in the pantomime this year. Could we get any hints, maybe? You know, just stop me anywhere here? No?
We can tell you that it's going to be somewhere royal.
What's that? The Dingle Hopper.
This is the Dingle Hopper.
Well, this one's multi-purpose, so...
Like Layla.
Whoa. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that for many of our viewers who are first years and don't have the joyous privilege of being British like myself, are probably very confused as to what a pantomime is. So could you guys maybe enlighten us as to what a pantomime is?
So the pantomime is a type of play. It's a type of play that's satirical and takes like a Disney movie and we're going to put like an LUC twist on it, and it's going to be funny. It's going to be something different. Look forward to it.
There's lots of audience participation. We encourage you to boo, to cheer, and really get to participate with the actors.
And you can wear human shoes.
I'm sure Prince Charming has plenty of opinions on that then.
On shoes? Yes. If they're not glass shoes, then who the fuck are you?
Okay. Alright, so obviously you guys are very big on secrecy and left us with many questions here. So why should we buy a ticket?
It's one of the biggest events of the year. I might be there.
Tarzan will be there!
There's a lot of surprises. There's surprises before the show, during the show. The theater will open, there'll be something going on before the show even starts, and many surprises after the show, so it's well worth your while. And a free drink.
Yeah.
It's a whole night.
Or maybe two.
Or maybe two.
Or three.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, free drinks always gets to the venue on time.
Yeah.
And there's a great venue.
It's royal, some would say.
Can we get a hint as to maybe what venue that might be?
I just gave you one.
Alright, Ariel.
Yeah, no, but honestly, like, it's gonna be much bigger than it has ever been before, and I think it's gonna be super amazing, and people should really come by and get their tickets, because
you don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
You really
And
don't.
where might tickets be on sale, perhaps?
In a couple minutes, we will be downstairs at Coasters selling tickets. There's PIN and there's cash. And then we'll also be selling tickets throughout the next coming week.
Okay, right. Well, I think I speak for most of the LUC community here when I say I've definitely been left with more questions than answers. But thank you for the very few answers that you've given us. Thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully the secrecy pays off, and we hope to see you at the Panto. And for those of you on Exchange, Fortune TV will be broadcasting it for you guys to see live. So, stay tuned. Closer to home, though, this Thursday we were predicted to have snow, but unfortunately that turned out to be just as accurate as LUC News is. For more on the weather, we now turn to Faye Kirsch. Thanks, Faye. Well, that wraps up yet another Fortune TV broadcast for the block. and the last of 2018, because over the next 2 weeks I will consume so much Crowdnoter that I will no longer fit into this camera shop. We hope you liked some of the changes we tried to bring you this block, and if you're interested in being part of that change, we'll be hosting an open call for auditions, so keep an eye out for those, or just ask myself or any of the crew members. For now though, we hope to see you all at the pre-pantomime extravaganza to maybe get some tickets and definitely get a beer. For now though, as always, it's good night.